Hey guys, Nick Anthony Zamison here, sitting next to Big Jonny Ray. You look good today, Jonny.
Thank you.
What's on tap today? What are we talking about? What's bugging you today? What's going on? Cheers to the microphone.
I'll drink to that. We can either start off with words, expressions, and phrases that we hate, which probably bothers me more than it does you, or life coaches, which probably bother you more than they do me.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
You pick, you're the boss.
Well, it depends on who wants to talk more today, because I can go on and on and on about these fucking life coaches that just, how are you going to tell me anything about my life driving a Subaru? Shut the fuck up.
Well, we're off and popping. Go for it.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. When you went to some sort of Tony Robbins event, who I am a fan of, I won't say. Tony and I go way back.
He's got nice teeth.
I've known Tony for over 20 years, personally, actually. So we have a relationship. Going to a Tony Robbins event or a Dean Garazi or even that who's that charlatan? Grant Cardone. That's who he is.
I was just going to say you got to narrow it down just a little bit.
Let's talk about that guy for a second. Well, just because you go to one of their boot camps or you go to online class showing people how to be better them, better you, better. I don't even know what they talk about. I don't want to bash them too much, but I got to bash them a little. And life isn't all about money, just 98% of it. So
give or take.
Maybe 99%.
Yeah.
And, I will take advice from people like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. I'll even take advice from my guy, Steven Sikowski.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have done better in life and in financial situations or in marriage, you have a longer marriage than I have, or maybe a stronger marriage than I do, I'll listen to you. Mm-hmm. I really will. But if you're two-time divorcee, rolling around in a Subaru or a Honda Civic or, God forbid, a Jetta.
What about a Prius?
A fucking Prius. Well, my boy Leo DiCaprio rocked a Prius back in the late 90s, so I can't bash on Priuses too much. But our guy McConaughey and I think the same way about this. Sometimes you just need a truck or a four-wheel drive or something that goes faster than 35 miles an hour. That's basically, a Prius is basically a Vespa or a scooter on four wheels.
Okay, that actually leads me to a question that I had driving here this very morning. I was behind a Leaf.
A Leaf,
yes. Nissan Leaf.
Yes.
Yes, and
their version of the Prius.
Right. And I, of course, in the left-hand lane. And is there something about them where they don't accelerate? They can't go fast. And that's why whenever I'm behind one, either I have too heavy of a foot, or they just cannot, are incapable completely of going the speed limit.
I think it's the people that drive them. They're plenty capable. I mean, they have to at least go 65 miles an hour to be U.S. rated.
Okay.
Legal for the road. So I think it's the people.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
they're the same people that wear the Birkenstocks and the beanies that you love so much.
Oh, the fucking beanies.
These are the people. These are the cars they drive. Subarus as well.
Uh-huh.
The funny thing is, growing up in California, Subaru was like a joke car. Mm-hmm. Comedians would talk about, hey, where's the lesbian in the room because her Subaru's out front? Mm-hmm. It was a joke in California. And then I moved to Colorado because my lovely dear wife is from here. She's from a small little mountain town, majestic and clean, a place that I've never been and dread going to. I've been married to her for 13 years. I've never once been to her hometown because, I don't know, I value my time. I just feel like her small little town's going to be just dang, 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 dang.
Hey, incidentally, she did mention the other day that y'all were going to go up there this summer.
Yeah, it's on the books.
I think we were talking about it during some football game.
Probably the Super Bowl, John.
I think so.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
The red team versus the white team.
Yeah, the wrong team won, I'll tell you that.
And I like how you explained that to me, that our team was wearing white. And remember what my immediate follow-up question to that was? This far after Labor Day,
Oh, yeah.
You said it's okay because it's in the desert?
Yeah, it's in the desert, so it's okay.
God love you.
Yeah.
It occurred to me as I was fixing my hair this morning, because as you well know, the only time I ever ponder deep thoughts are when I'm fixing my hair or making the bed, and I do not know why. But nevertheless, where would you stay Because I know we all have a very minimum standard of
Yeah.
accommodations, and I don't think that there is a Ritz or a Four Seasons or a Mandarin Oriental.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something that I've pondered about. It actually makes me perspire just thinking about it.
I had a feeling.
I have a feeling we're like at the local Holiday Inn. I think we're going to end up staying there. I mean, I told Molly, I don't care what it is. Find the nicest place, please, that you possibly can. And she kind of giggled, which tells me right now I'm in for a problem, because she was like, we're not much on Airbnbs because I don't like staying in people's places and them giving me like a fucking laundry list of things to do before I leave, or else they charge me excess. Now, I heard about this whole thing. You got to make the beds and do the dishes and put the dishes in the sink and mop the floors and take out the garbage. And I'm like, this is why I fucking stay in hotels. If I want to do that, I'll stay home.
Well, I don't even do that at home.
Well, me either, but I'm trying to be relatable.
I'm not. There's not one damn thing about me that's relatable. Mentally, I live in 1927. I like it there.
Well, I think I should have been born in the 50s, but yeah.
With the very, very latest. Yeah. I think you and I are very much, we'd be real good at the jazz age, the good 20s, not this current fugazi 20s.
Well, this is the soft 20s. That's what we should call it, the soft 20s.
Yeah.
Or the flaccid 20s.
Yes, because this is certainly not the roaring 20s.
God, no, it's not.
Ugh.
I would have been a hoot.
Oh.
That's actually, incidentally, where I think it was around the 20s, maybe slightly before, is when they changed our name.
I love this story.
Yeah.
I can never remember what your real last name is.
Sedizio.
Yeah.
The real last name is Sedizio. Don't ask me how to spell it because I have no idea.
Is Italian like Spanish where it's spelled like it sounds?
I
know French isn't.
No, I mean, yes. I would say yes. But I don't know if it's a C or an S. If anyone out there can tell me how to spell my own last name, granted, it was changed in the Prohibition, kind of, guess that would be after that. But
nevertheless,
it was either way. It was from what I understand, it was in the 20s. So yes, my last name used to be Sedizio. Now it's this made-up last name called Zamison that is not even. It means muddy water. The name got changed way back. Let's call it the early 1900s.
Right.
When the police were after, from what I understand. When the story I've been told, which I've researched and had research. Actually, did I tell you I had a researcher look into everything? And they found my family crest.
Uh-huh.
They found exactly when the name got changed and why.
Well, honey, if they found your family crest, they'll know how to spell it.
No. Well, the coat of arms, not the crest, but the coat of arms. Yeah, but
right.
But they used it with the Zamison, which they linked to. They're like because we had a debate, not a debate. I shouldn't say debate's the wrong word. My cousin and I, who grew up in Dubrovnik in the old Yugoslavia in Croatia, because they say Zamichin, with a little asterisk over the C. And his wife, who incidentally is from St. Louis, or grew up in St. Louis, she's like, the first time I ever heard the name with a soft C is when you said it. She said, I've always known it as Zamichin, and you say Zamicin. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's the way I've always known it. But I remember my grandfather telling me they do pronounce it a little bit different. So, long story short, my grandfather was running, or my great-grandfather was running in his barber salon. He was running a saloon, if you will. It's called a speakeasy. Speakeasy.
Uh-huh.
In the back and the bottom of the saloon in San Francisco. And the door got kicked in by the cops. This is, they were trying to bust all the Italians out there because, that's what they do. Right. And he said, oh, no, we're not, my name is not Sedizio. That's the last guy who owned this. My name is Christoph Zamison. And it was actually Sedizio. And so the name died, for what I was told, even by the researcher, the name died that day.
Ah.
And he said, so there's no more record of it. So your grandfather was born Zamison, your father was born Zamison, you were born Zamison, your kids were born Zamison. And I said, well, how hard is it to get the name back Sedizio? And he's like, I mean, you can change your name. You can call yourself Sir King Charles for all I care. He's like, you can call yourself anything legally. You can change your name to anything you want. But the bloodline of Sedizio is still in you. It's just now it's called something else. And I said, so that's why the name means muddy water. He was throwing off the scent. He said, yeah, that's probably why they chose it. He said, I'm sure this was all chosen years prior to this happening, knowing that it was going to come down this way. Because I've had people say, your last name isn't Italian, though. It doesn't sound Italian at all. And I'm like,
well, yeah, first of all, and then in a vowel.
Well, yeah. I had a good buddy of mine tell me one time, your name is not Zamicin. He's from Italy. He said his name's Simon. Simon said, Oh, look at that. Simon says. But Simon said to me, your name is Zamachin. It's not Zamacin. He said, you say it wrong. And I was like, I've been saying it my whole life. He said, I know, but you've just been saying it wrong. And he's from Italy. He's actually.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah, he's actually a funny guy. But yeah, he was convinced. He was telling me and my wife that we were saying our names wrong, and he was like, "In Italy, you'd say it like this." He said, "That's what you are."
Right.
He said, "I can tell you're Italian just by looking at you." He said, "You're not the slightest bit Croatian." He's like, "I have plenty of Croatian friends. You are not Croatian."
Right.
He's like, "You're not even close to looking." And the funny thing is, when my cousin Avisa and Mario, the two brothers, when my cousin Avisa, he came out to visit and stayed and came to the house with his kids, lovely kids, by the way. And he came over and he said, "Yeah, he's like, I'm not quite sure what we are because we're not Croatian. We don't." He's like, I don't look like anybody over there."
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's because you're Italian. You're not Croatian. We're not Croatian at all." So the point is, the last name is Sedizio. I've had it looked into. They found the coat of arms. I was thinking about actually getting like a ring or something made with the coat of arms.
Gee, if only you knew a place.
I know. Tell me about it. But anyway, so the last name Sedizio. Where were we going with
I
this?
really don't know. I love
Son
the
of a
synaptic
bitch.
mismatch. Well, you could always do the 23andMe or the Ancestry. I did that, and I can't begin to tell you
I
how
did that.
disappointed I was.
I did do that. And it was exactly what I thought it was. French and Italian. It's exactly where we're at. What are you? You're Irish, though.
Well, so, okay, my family has been in this country, as near as I can tell, based off of Ancestry.com, which is probably really reliable. If I'm able to do something, then chances are good it's probably, never mind, because I'm not good at anything, maybe except for handwriting.
Doing your hair.
And my hair.
Dressing well. Selling shiny objects.
True. But when it comes to actual things that make, a difference. But nevertheless, but having been in this country since the late 1600s, both of my grandmothers were, well, no, mom's mom was in Colonial Daughters and all that, and long time, right? And I thought, well, I have the ability to tan, which is not indicative to Irish people.
Correct. Usually you just get red.
Right, and burn. And my hair has texture to it, and I thought, well, maybe it's not just as cut and dried as Irish and German. Okay. Got the report back from Ancestry. And it could not be more Nordic, more Northeast European, more German and Irish and English.
Oh.
I'm like,
Well, you're exactly what you are.
I am exactly what I am, but I was hoping for something a little bit more interesting.
Oh. Would you think you were going to be like African or something?
Not necessarily, but I don't. So, nevertheless, long story longer, I showed it to my folks. They're like, hate to disappoint you, not sure, sorry about your luck. Because my mother is as fair can be. She glows in the dark.
Yeah.
White hair, practically albino. Well, I certainly don't get this from you.
She's beautiful, though.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
And she's, of course, one of your biggest fans. And she respects people who know how to manage money more than anything in the world.
Well,
Once a banker, always a banker.
that's, yeah, well, there you go.
Speaking of them,
Yes.
I was telling them about our little podcast over the weekend. And my father, who brooks exactly 0% bullshit ever,
Well, I respect that as well.
says to me, he goes, after I explained to them what a podcast was, because they're like Amish people.
Well, they are living in northern Colorado.
They're living in the 50s. They like it there.
Wow.
So once I explained what a podcast was, he goes, do you mean to tell me that you two are going to devote precious free time to talking, and you actually think people are going to listen to you? If you have that kind of goddamn free time, don't you think it would better be spent making money? Okay. Said, well, I don't know that anybody's going to listen to us, Dad. I think this is just for fun.
Yeah.
It's pastime. Whose brilliant idea was this? Mostly Nick's. Oh, well, in that case,
See,
with Nick's idea, then there's got to be some validity to it.
it's all forgiven.
Well, exactly.
It's all forgiven. It's all real.
Well, you're their better son.
Well, they say that because they don't know me yet.
I
I look online a lot nicer than I am.
Yeah, but they've heard the stories, the unvarnished reality. And you know what? They're good with that.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
Well, they know you. They know you're protected when you go out.
Then there's that. Because I do have a smart mouth and I like to run it. But anyway, so we started on life coaches.
Oh yes.
And we picked daisies all the way over to,
Where you're from.
yeah.
Yeah. That's how these things go. Well, I'll tell you this. coming from my background, which is next to nothing, trailer park kid, mom's an alcoholic, drug addict, still is to this day, unfortunately. She's never met my kids. Kind of keep them away from people that are bad, the way I look at it. Your job as a parent is to protect your kids at any cost. So I do. I only let people in their lives that have some sort of value to them. You obviously are in their lives. You're their favorite Uncle Johnny.
Well, they mean the world to me.
And, why I say this is when I have a life coach, and I'm using quotations here, when I have a life coach say, this is how you better yourself, or this is what you can do. And I'm like, there's times where I'm looking at them just going, what are you going to tell me how are you going to relate to me? Right. How are you going to relate to, being in an abusive household, having a substance abuse situation, bouncing in and out of foster care? Do you know what it's like? Not you, but I had asked the life coach if they have. Do you know what it's like to? Do you know what food stamps come in? Do you know the envelope the food stamps come in? Blue, blue envelope, 2 red stripes. Do you know what it's like to have the free meal ticket punched at the end of the line because they got to get all the paying kids first, and you kind of get the leftovers? Do you know what it's like to bounce from school to school to school and have to literally fight every single day because people picked on you about your pro wings? You know what pro wings? Do you have any idea what pro wings are?
Not a clue.
Of course you don't. Pro wings are they were like the knockoff Adidas or knockoff Nikes, where you bought them at Payless and they said pro wings on them. Man, I used to get in so many fights about
I had
that.
saddle shoes.
Saddle shoes?
Well, we had a uniform.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, my parents couldn't afford to send me to private school, so I went to the great old public of schools.
Right.
And so, there was a lot of fights. There was, it was nonstop. It was just nonstop fighting. And, so, to the point where my mom, she got to know the principal, like, by first name. They're like, hey, Barb, Nick's in here again. And she's like, what did he do? Oh, he smacked some kid up the side of the fucking head for saying this or that. And so that's just what I did.
Well,
the easiest way to shut someone up, pop them in the mouth.
Exactly.
So I figured, you learn a lot. You learn a lot by fighting. Not all good things, but you learn a lot. You learn things like, don't do certain things to certain people. Mm-hmm. Don't underestimate who somebody is. Mm-hmm. And, most of all, don't wear a sweatshirt if you're going to get into a fight because fuckers will grab the back. Next thing you know, they're dragging you on the ground by the back of the hood. So there's little things that you learn about fighting or growing up. And they translate to business as well, Be very careful what you tell people. Mm-hmm. Make sure you pick a fight with someone that isn't just going to completely plummet you or pummel you. So my point is this. Let's get back to life coaches.
We really circled around beautifully that time.
We did. Life coaches in general, I always question, what is it you're going to tell me? What, please educate me on your thoughts on how to make my life better. Mm-hmm. Because I have more money than most people. Mm-hmm. Not that money is everything, but we've decided it's 98 to 98%, 99%.
Give or take.
I have more money than most people could ever want or ever think about having. I'm liquid, meaning I have cash. I'm not just like tied up in a business. There are plenty of people that have more than I do. There's no doubt about it. But cash. It's fun to be cash. There's a difference.
I've certainly had fun with you with that.
Well, there's a difference between like, oh yeah, he has a business that's worth $500 million. Yeah, but he can't spend that.
Right.
He got to sell that company to maybe get it and then pay off all his partners. I'm a solo dude. All mine's mine. So my point is, I have all the cars, I have all the houses, I have more real estate than I know what to do with. Jesus Christ, what, I have 13 houses? How many buildings do I have? I don't fucking know. It's ridiculous. I have Lamborghinis, I have classic cars, I have 13 Rolexes. I got a Patek Philippe. The only thing I don't have is an AP, by the way.
Well,
I need to get an AP. Not for anything more than I just want one. Well, I want one. I want a gold AP with a white face.
That's how I feel about a sable.
A sable.
Sable coat.
Oh, yes.
Practical? No.
See,
it's the AP of fur coats.
That's just it. You have your fur coats. I have my watches and cars. But my point is this. I'd sit down with a life coach and granted, while it's not all about money, and to be fair, I have a beautiful wife, three lovely kids.
All of them healthy.
All of them healthy. All of them do well in school.
Yes.
They're all A students.
Yes.
Gosh, I have, I'm blessed. I'm blessed further than I should be. There's no doubt about it. However, when I sit down with a life coach, I'm like, okay, coach me.
Right.
What are you going to tell me? What are you going to tell me? Because you probably walk out of here crying, but what are you going to tell me? I want to know.
Exactly.
What knowledge do you have for me that you're going to help my life? Because I'd love to hear it. And I know a life coach would probably sit down and say, well, no, it's not. It's more than just that. Tell me what it is.
Go ahead.
I mean, please, for the love of God, I really want to hear what you have to say. We should invite one here.
I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I'm going to tell you right now, life coaches, those yay, hi God, uppy with people type, those kind of people are the reason that I would ditch pep assemblies in school. Because no, you cannot naturally be that happy. And they're always so, you want to take a half a grapefruit and just push it in their face as hard as they can stand. And then twist. And on that note, next time we'll talk about words and phrases we hate, because we didn't hit on that, but
words and phrases.
We got some. So do you want to sign us off or shall I?
You go right ahead.
All right, friends, frenemies, enemies, and all in between, thank you for joining us. Hopefully this was time well wasted for you. If it's not, grow a sense of humor, my darlings. And if it was, well then like and subscribe, and we will catch you next time. Signing off for both the Mr. Nick Anthony Zamison.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us on Take It or Leave It. This is John. We'll talk to you soon.